Hey guys, DM back with a new video for you guys, and actually gonna be part of a new series. This is gonna be where I take different maps and I go over different positions that you guys can use in terms of uh, what's gonna work for damage and spotting. Now, I'm gonna start with province because there's actually positions that not that many people will always go to, and also ones that are quite popular that you can also use, and I'll go over the positives and negatives of each one. So I've got my buddy Ghostly there, also from Cirque, to give me a hand with this in his T50-2 light tank. I'm using the Skoda T25. I decided to pick two tier 6s because of course these are both tanks that you're going to see quite regularly on this map, because of course it's limited to a maximum of tier 7. So just going to start off. Just gonna speed this up. Now, I'm gonna start off with a position that I use quite a bit. Now, I'm gonna ask you guys just to ignore any spotting right now. So, Ghostly has... I've had him position himself on the D8 balcony. Well, D7, D8 balcony. Now, these bushes that I'm in right here, you can actually see that we very easily spot him. Now, I have binos on this thing, and he's not... Those have not even activated, and he's been spotted. This position that I'm in here, so if I come and show you guys. Now, if you are in a fast, medium, or a light tank, you can actually get to the spot very, very quickly, and it is a very, very strong. So you can see up there that you've got Ghostly in the typical sniper bush. I'll go over some of the positives of this, but this spot that I'm in right now counters that directly. You can also directly counter the other sniper bushes to the either side of this next little building here. You'll probably see that I'll get Ghostly to go there in a little bit. And just to show, just to actually demonstrate it. So this spot has a lot of advantages. One, you spot people coming down the slope towards this whole side of the map. You spot people going along this entire lower stretch at the very bottom, in case they're trying to YOLO or even get some of these bushes. And you'll generally get to this spot before they even get round that corner, which is nice. You also spot people going up and down this next little road here. And you spot people peeking over the edge there, or going into the bushes that you can see up here and here. In case they're trying to snipe. It's a very, very strong position, and you can even spot people if they're pushing down towards the J line there. So very, very strong, this position. And I've got thousands and thousands of spotting damage done from these bushes in the past, both in light tanks and some mediums. Hell, if you're fast enough, if you're in something like a T67, you can use certain tank destroyers for it as well. T67, Hellcat, Super Hellcat. These are just a couple of examples. Obviously, ones with turrets work a little better, because then you can just, instead of having to go into third person, you can literally just turn while you're in sniper mode, and then whatever target you want to ping for your team. So, you can see here that there's Ghostly right there. Now, obviously, we can spot him there, we can spot anyone else that shoots through there, we can even spot the little bit just to the left of that big stone panel that he's next to. Just going to speed this up here, so then he's going to get unspotted. Now, I got him to go to the next set of bushes. You can actually see me pointing right at them. We do have our binos up here. Now, obviously, binos do help, but if you've got good view range without, you'll generally spot anyway. Now, he's obviously, like, firing shots towards the D line as if he was sniping. And then he's going to do the same on the other side. There we go. So I'm going to keep this at double speed, because we're going to be repositioning, or to go up to 4 times speed now, because we are repositioning. The next spot, I'm going to keep it on this side for the moment. So, the spot that I'm in just now, if we go into third person. Now, this spot has 2 uses. You can see that I'm actually starting on the right hand side. This will counter any push that goes down from G8 down towards J8, which you will see a lot. You will see that very often. You can use it to spot from there, you can use it to shoot from there. It keeps you safe against artillery, which are most likely going to be over in the bushes over at the back there. Keeps you safe against the other sniper spots over here also. Now, it does not keep you safe against, you know, the people that are over here. But that's... You've also got to shoot at them, so, you know. Now, you also have these bushes here. Those do give you shots out towards the normal sniper spots, which you do want to use these. But you do want to be careful because there might well be light tanks in some bushes that I will point out later on. Also, you can potentially be spotted from that D7, D8 balcony. Just be aware of that. If someone has the view range, they can actually counter spot these bushes from there. It's not easy, but it can happen. You can actually see that where I am right now, the view range circle almost gets all the way out to here. Now, that balcony is not the most effective part to spot this, but there are others that can do better. So let's keep going. Now, Ghostly has a camo crew on his T50, so there will be portions of the match where I will be getting him to fire, because that thing has damn good camo. But generally at this tier, people don't have great camo, so you can see that he goes there, very easy shots. Generally things that go there will be spotted. They'll generally be things like heavy tanks, medium tanks, and you'll always have people over there spotting for you as well, so it's a very good sniper position. Now where I'm going now is, just because it's over here, I figured the next position I would do would be one as if you're from this spawn and you are being pushed from the 2 line. So I'm going to speed this up a bit. So I usually, if I am defending this spawn and if I'm being pushed, I usually stay in this exact bush here. And there's a reason for that. And so, as soon as Ghostly gets respotted, you can see him coming down there. Now, I usually sit in this bush because you can spot people coming from as far away as E2, which is actually pretty far. And obviously Ghostly gets spotted on F2 because of his camo crew. And however, you can get shots there, you can spot people there if there are people next to you who are in double bushes, if they're back here, or if they are back maybe just a little bit behind you here, or if they're over here a little bit, then they will have angles to shoot people crossing where Ghostly is right now. And if you are going to double bush yourself, this is where you want to sit. Now, the reason for that is because by the time you've pulled back there, most of the time the enemy team will have pushed either to this building here, to one side or another, or to this building here, again, to the left or right of it. And this will give you all the bush cover in front of you. You can actually see there's not just one bush, but another 2 in front of me there. And by the time they get to this building here, there's actually a 3rd. And it gives you easy access to hard cover by this rock here. So we're going to go and reposition now, so we can show another one. So I get Ghostly to head off and find a starting point. So this spot, this is somewhere you might go if you are in a very fast tank, like in a light tank or a very fast medium, and you are coming from the north spawn, which is this one over here, where Ghostly spawned in this map. Now, this spot is very, very good at stopping people from rushing down the 2 line from south spawn. So if people are going from, say, J2 all the way up towards E2, then you'll generally find that they're an easy spot. So you can see that as soon as Ghostly leaves his position, we can spot all the way down there. It is very strong, and you can even double bush from these. You want to be a little further back than you might expect. You kind of want to pull back almost to here, double bush in these. Maybe not as far as that. It depends on how tall your tank is and the gun depression you have, and also where the enemies are. If they are like around this building here, this kind of orangey one here, well, orangey, you know, this tall building here, then you don't really have much option other than to be a bit further forward. And the same if they are right here, or by this building here, or by this one here. moving around now. Oh, a side note, by the way, guys. If you are winning the match and you need quick access to people who are maybe down here or down here, and you need to get off here quickly to get damage, you can actually use this staircase here. Just be careful when you're going down it. It is quite steep, but you can take narrower tanks like the Skoda and like the T50-2 and go down there. So next bush. Now this bush right here is the one that we're going to use for this primarily. However, this one here can also be used to spot, well, not necessarily spot, but definitely shoot out towards the camper spots across here. So you can use this to double bush and then shoot out across from one side to the other. Just bear in mind that if people have gotten to here, then there's a potential that if you are shooting through these bushes that they may spot you. This bush, however, is where you go if you are trying to spot people who are like going to this section here where heavies go. You'll see Ghostly coming down there shortly. There he is. So that little bit just to the side of him. So this little section here with the staircase and little wall there. Heavies tend to go down there because they like to be able to side scrape or stay hull down behind that. It will stop people pushing down from this side, but that's about it. There's not much else that does. Generally though, if a heavy wants to make sure their team doesn't get pushed, that's a good spot to go. Is it what I do when I'm marking? No. It's not good for gun marks. Simply put, if you're in a heavy and you want to farm gun marks, this is not going to be a great place for it. Mainly because there's going to be very few tanks you're going to come across, you're not going to get much spotting, you're going to only have limited damage as well. It's really just to be a threat more than anything else. That's all this spot is for. You don't have the ability to get shot by anyone from the other side, however, so you are fairly safe from snipers, at the very least. But, like I say, it's very limited in what it does. It has one purpose, and that's to stop people pushing down the 2 line. So, continuing on. So now I am going to relocate all the way down. I'm getting Ghostly to go to a different starting spot as well. So if we hurry this up, then I will show you exactly where I'll be going this time. So this is going to be a popular one to go to for people who are in fast mediums and light tanks. This is a very popular spot. Now, this is one that people will generally cross along the J line towards, or even if they are little risky, down the H line towards the little road on that starts on H7 there and goes all the way up via H7, J7, J8 up to here on J9. This is always where people with mediums and light tanks, especially the faster ones, will go. You do sometimes see heavies going up here, but it's not the best one for them to do. There's a reason for this, and that's because, oh well, that's because of another position that I'll show you later on. For now, this is the main bush that you want to be using, and it is very strong. In fact, when you see Ghostly coming down, you'll see exactly why, and you'll see exactly how far we can spot into their base. In fact, if you look at the map, you can see just how far our view range extends, and if you look, he's just come around from behind here, heading towards this building, and we've already seen him. Now, he's fairly safe there because he does have a building in the way, but there are going to be slower tanks that you might spot that people will get shots on very easily from the opposite side of the map. Like, if, for example, a Churchill might get stuck before getting to one of the buildings because of the gap between the monastery and the first building going from D7 to E7. That is a very dangerous route for a slow heavy, but you do see it happen, and I'll show you where heavies will go in just a moment. From that side, if they decide to. Do I tell Ghostly just to stop for a second? and just to pull back behind the building just to get himself unspawned. So then I can use the next bush. Now this bush serves two purposes. So the building that I'm in, not building, the bush that I'm in right now serves two purposes. Stopping people from using this bush and keeping people spotted here. Now this is going to be useful for artillery, but also useful for stopping people from sniping across from here, or where Ghostly just went there, out towards your people who might be like pushing the 2 or 3 line, or even people who are camping your base. And where Ghostly is now is also where heavies tend to go a lot from his spawn, like which is the north spawn. Heavies will tend to go down there, so then they can side scrape against the mediums and lights that are over here. It doesn't tend to work very well, but it's another option that's similar to the E2, E3 position at the buildings there, from that you might take a heavy to from south spawn. Next, while I'm on this side of the map, I am going to show you guys what I would normally do for defending a push against this spawn. So I've come straight over to the rock, because that's the first thing I will do if I've had to move back to these bushes. I will start at this rock as kind of an anchor point, and then I'll move forward into these bushes here to get a good view on anything that's going to be coming. So I'm just going to speed this up again, so then you'll see where Ghostly gets spotted by me and where his Sixth Sense will kick in. So I told him to stop as soon as his Sixth Sense kicks in, which is right there. That's when he knows he's been spotted. So, that's pretty far. Use this to your advantage, because as soon as you spot something, start pulling back. Now, I'm going to pull back to where I would, in order to get the ideal double bush position against people who are where Ghostly is right now. They may be on the corner by the monastery, they may be starting to move from these buildings here, they may be coming from these ones here, but you want to get shots on all of those. So I always pull back to here. Again, if you look at it, you do have good shots at where Ghostly is. He may also be approaching from his right or left. That gives me good shots through the bushes without the chance of being spotted. I farmed plenty of damage from these myself, which is great for gun marks. And also, if there's not that many tanks, and maybe if you're healthy and the enemy team are maybe just pushing this side because they think they can recover the match, or even just turn the match to their side by making this push, you can really slow this down, if not completely counter it. Usually it's just going to be the case of slowing it down and getting as much damage as you can in by the time you have to do this. But again, it's something that's going to positively affect your overall results. It's going to be something that's going to affect how you approach this map as well. Because as much as this is a campy map, there's going to be options for you to defend, to spot, and these are going to be things that are going to win you matches on this map. It's not going to be purely about things bouncing damage or things pushing forward. It's about what you can do to influence the spotting, and therefore what the rest of your team does as well. However, by the time you get to this point, it's all about what you can output as far as damage in terms of this spot. So if we go back to third-person camera, you can see I'm actually already in this bush here, right next to the rock. Again, ease of access to hard cover. And then I just got... Okay, and now we're going to go to a different spot here. So, a very popular position on this map from the north spawn is this area where I am here. Now these are mostly for sniping. However, there is an option for spotting. Now, this little gap here between the monastery and the orange building is very good for TDs. You do have a good wide view of things, and you've got a bush that you can just pull back behind to stay unspotted. Not so much on this side, but definitely in between the buildings, and also where I'm going to be going just now. So I'm going to speed this up because I'm going to get Ghostly to do a pass across the map. So So, there are a couple of positions that this can counter. Now, do remember that where I went, originally, the very first position does actually hard counter this. But generally, people don't go there. So you're often going to be free reign. In fact, you can actually see me pointing at the aqueduct there. So, you can actually see that all the way across here, you will spot people pretty much this entire way. Which gives your team really good shots of people crossing. And you will even spot people through these bushes here, because there'll be a part of their tank that pops over these bushes that you will spot. You can even pull back and start shooting these people through the bushes that I am in just now. So you can pull back a little bit and start using these to double bush through these bushes also to get a little bit more damage in against people who are maybe going up towards J8 and J9. Now, Ghostly is going to fire just to reveal himself. So there we go. He's going to just head down there. As you can see, we spotted him. There he is. You're going to probably spot people who have better crews at the point where he is. He did not fire at this point, but I will be getting him to shoot for one of the other positions later on. Where you might see people. But here is where you'll likely see most light tanks. Light tanks generally won't take hits. It's going to be people in mediums and heavies. Maybe the odd tank destroyer that you'll see crossing this way. That you'll get shot. Oh, that you may not necessarily get shot on, but your team might. So I'm going to get him to head back up to G3 now. And actually you can see we spot him again as our binos come up. So now, he's going to be heading across this way. You can actually see that when I was doing the replay that I was pointing over here in the first place. There we go, so he's there. Now, where he is right now is very, very common area to see heavies and mediums who've gotten a bit overconfident and have decided to try and push people who might be at C2. This is going to be a very good opportunity for you to get spotting damage, very good opportunity for you to get either tracking or just raw damage in. Very, very open, very easy to get shots. The only time that you won't be able to shoot anything from here or even spot anything is if they're directly behind this building here. I would say this rock, but it's too small to hide most tanks. Smaller ones like the T50, sort of, but there'll generally be someone over here to spot them anyway, so yeah. Really, really open. Really easy for you to spot from where I am right now. Very, very safe to take shots at them as well. So we're just going to speed this up so then we can show the next one. Side note, by the way, guys. This is actually a really, really good position for if you get spotted as well. Because this gives you a lot of cover. Now, the only part that this doesn't cover you against is either artillery, which can still hit you there potentially, but also this direction across here. If there are people who are maybe down here, they can shoot you if you're behind that panel right there. Also bear in mind, if you are trying to shoot at things, that this is very open. This is a very easy place to get spotted. So try not to shoot from here if you can avoid it. So I'm now moving to another spot that you can use, and this is a bit more risky. Same idea as the very first spot that we went to in this match, but this one is a lot more likely to get YOLO'd. And I'll show you what tends to happen in just a moment. Now, where I'm going to be going is essentially, like I say, the mirror counterpart to the very first spot that I went to in this video. It's here. Now, you might be tempted to go up to the next rock because it's a little closer. Don't. Simply put, don't. Because you will always get spotted going to this. Because even if you're in something very fast, like the T50-2 that Ghostly is in, you're way too close to people to get here. Your camo will be invalidated before you even get there. Like by the time you're here, most people will have been able to see you, and you'll probably just get screwed over. And it's the same with this one. They're not good positions. They can also be very easily countered by this road here. So yeah, you don't want that one. This one, however, Now, faster tanks than the Skoda can very easily counter this one if they are either going to these set of bushes here, or even if they're going up here. However, you'll generally get a decent window to get here. Remember that at these tiers, people don't always have the best view range. So, I'm now going to get Ghostly to head up to some of the opposing bushes. And basically do what the average player will do. So now he's gone through into the bushes. There. Now you can spot there. You can spot people going there. If they are firing through the bushes. Just bear in mind that you're very, very low and that you're not always going to spot people where Ghostly is right now. But if they are just getting cocky and going forward into the bushes, or if they just don't know how bushes work, then you'll spot people like I did Ghostly. And again, the bushes I'm aiming at, yep, you'll generally see people shooting from those, so you'll quite often spot people there. And in fact, as we'll demonstrate, we'll use same with the next ones as well. There we go. And those. Now, sure, he poked forward a bit, but generally if they are just sitting in the bushes firing, you'll spot them. And just going to demonstrate how it can very easily counter that first set of bushes as well. You can see he got spotted on the way to them. And on the way out as well. Which also means you'll spot people going up and down that slope as well. Now, there's not that many positions left, so I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. Because the next part that I'm going to demonstrate is if you're being YOLO'd. So, I got spotted. Now, I did that to invalidate my own camel crew here. Now, you might find that people who have really good view range on their tanks, which does sometimes happen, will see you here. Now, being spotted here does mean that people will easily have shots from the standard camper spots. That is also why you have this. This is a very, very large piece of hard cover. You want to be near that at all times when you're using a spot like this. Now, that is one of the major differences between this spot and this one. This does not have a lot of hard cover. It does, however, have a better retreat angle. So if you're trying to get away, you've got a lot more buildings here between you and the enemy. This one, sure, you've got this rock and this rock, but you've got a more open part here that is actually closer to where you're likely to get spotted. So this is not as good a retreat option as this one, but it's still an option. So we're just moving to the next set of bushes that you can use. Alright, so this one here. Now this one is also kind of risky. Couple of reasons. One, people tend to go here, and that can sometimes spot you, not all the time. You will almost always spot that though in return. And however, people will also try and get to this rock here, which will always see you. You will never not get spotted from here. It doesn't matter what you're in at these tiers, you will get spotted from this corner. And they will be in hard cover. That will force you to move to here, and you will have to kill them if you want to proceed to use these bushes. And these are actually still fairly strong in where they can spot. But really, this is a late game one. And by that, I mean that you have actually come from where I spawned in this replay, which is the south spawn. Now, these do sometimes work from the north spawn. I mean, you can use them to spot people who are going up the low road here, or maybe right at the bottom. But this is really better. Oh, you can actually see I spot Ghostly going up that way. And these are better if you are looking to counter the camper spots here in the late game. So if your team has won the 2 and 3 lines from south spawn, and you're now wanting to make sure that the campers on D7, D8, and C7 and C8 get spotted, this is not a bad place to go. Now, do bear in mind that it is possible that you can get spotted going here from those positions. So, yeah, and that's it. That's the last position. So, while heavies can use some of these, just bear in mind that heavies also don't have much use for a lot on this map. If you're in one of the ones that has a good gun for picking things off, that's what you want to be doing. Early aggression is bad in this game. Holding people off until You've picked off the heavier targets, the tougher ones, and been able to get yourself into positions where you can counter the opposing sniper spots, like you can use this spot for. And then that's what you want to be doing in this map. That's why I'm showing these ones. This map is not one where aggression pays off, and you will see this over and over and over. Early game on this map is, well, basically the early game mantra on this map is don't let people play the game. If you stop people from playing the game, and by that I mean playing aggressive, then you will almost always win, because you'll get the early advantage in terms of numbers of tanks left alive, hit points, you name it. And then from there, that'll make it a lot easier to move forward towards the enemy base, and from there, just even if you don't necessarily outspot them, if they're maybe in the back bushes, let's say on B2, not B2, sorry, not B2, like B9 here, even, then you can absolutely just overwhelm them with numbers, and that's kind of what you want in the end for this map. Anyway, guys, this has been a bit of a longer one, but I hope you guys find it useful. And like I say, let me know in the comments what map you want to see next, or any that you maybe want my thoughts on. I do find that this map for tiers 5, 6, and 7 is fantastic for farming gun mark percentage, which is what I'm mainly doing as well. And hopefully this gives you an insight into how I think as someone who plays the game to 3 mark tanks. So anyway, guys, that's all from me for this one, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.